The Brahmana has been telling the ascetic king Shikadvaja some parables. In chapter 88 we had the parable of the Chintamani, the wish-fulfilling jewel. And it was a story about a man that wanted this jewel. He underwent the necessary practices and he achieved it. But because he achieved it in such a short time, he couldn't believe that he'd actually got it. The analogy here is with the idea that spiritual teaching, spiritual understanding is somehow extremely difficult. And in fact, some traditions say it's impossible in these times to have spiritual realization, to reach it. Or if you do want to achieve it, it takes aeons through many lives to reach spiritual understanding. This is a danger. These teachings are dangerous. They close off the possibility of spiritual realization. The truth is always available. It's always available. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. The only reason that stops us from realizing the truth is our own notions about it. It's these notions which we have to drop. Shikadvaja said, "Holy One, explain the significance of these stories." The Brahmana, Chudala, said, "The wealthy learned man who went in search of the celestial jewel is you, King. You have knowledge of the scriptures, yet you are not at rest within yourself, as a stone rests in water. Chintamani is the total renunciation of everything, which puts an end to all sorrow." Chintamani is the wish-fulfilling gem. Now here's an interesting definition, isn't it? We think of the wish-fulfilling gem as something which will bring you anything you want, your heart's desire. But here it's described as the total renunciation of everything. It's only by total renunciation that you actually gain everything. You renounce all your ideas of ownership, all your notions of ownership. Once you've renounced all notions of ownership, you've got nothing to worry about. Objects bring anxieties, not just objects, but all the things that we appropriate to ourselves, whether they're objects or people, relationships, ideas, fame, wealth, our self-image. We give all these things up, we drop them. This is renunciation. All these things bring with them anxiety. They all need to be maintained. They all need to be held on to. We drop them all. We are free. And at last we can be at ease in the universe. What a wonderful thing here. To actually feel like the universe is our bedroom. It's our home. The universe is our home. It's not some hideous, cold, alien, hostile environment. It's our home, where we can feel at ease with everything. So, the Chintamani, the wish-fulfilling gem, is total renunciation. This is what puts an end to all sorrow. By pure total renunciation, everything is gained. It's been described as being like an emperor in the world. You realize that you're actually in very intimate relationship with everything. You've transcended legal notions of ownership to realize your true relationship with everything. What is the celestial jewel in comparison? Inasmuch as you were able to abandon the empire, etc., you have experienced such total renunciation. After renouncing everything, you have come to this hermitage. However, one thing still remains to be renounced, your ego sense. And your ego sense is your ideas, your notions about yourself and the world. If the heart abandons the mind, the movement of thought, there is realization of the Absolute. And this is a very important point. The heart abandons the mind. When I talk about dropping notions, stopping identifying with notions, it seems quite clear-cut somehow. But we believe in such total conviction in our notions that we're not even aware that we do have these beliefs. We just say they're obvious. They're not subject to question. This is where self-inquiry comes in. We have to look at the things that we're holding on to. We have to look at the things which define us and let go of them. And this is a deeply heartfelt thing that we need to examine. If the heart abandons the mind, the movement of thought or notions, there is realization of the Absolute. But you are overcome by the thought of the renunciation, which your renunciation has created in you. So I have to be careful about the use of the word thought here. It's not just having a thought, it's about our underlying convictions. Sikadvaja became a renunciate. For him, this is what spirituality was about, giving up things. But he had this notion of being a renunciate. This is what he was fitting his life and understanding into, the notion of being a renunciate, which meant living in the forest. It meant having your hermitage. It meant having all the various accoutrements of the ascetic, the water vessel, the stick and so on, the deerskin. There was a uniform, there's a basic uniform for the ascetic. It's a highly romantic image, isn't it? A very inspiring image. And this is what Sikadvaja was into. He didn't even think that this was something to be given up. It takes a while for the penny to drop that this is actually something that can be given up. His very notions about asceticism. So he's been overcome by the thought of the renunciation, which his renunciation has created in him. This is his conviction, which he's not even aware of. Hence, this is not the bliss that arises from total renunciation. One who has abandoned everything is not agitated by worry. If wind can sway the branches of a tree, it cannot be called immovable. And this is a good way of checking your own realization. Are there things that you worry about? You're a spiritual practitioner. You keep coming back to the self, but in between times there can be lots of anxieties. Anxieties about health, wealth, about relationships, career, everything else. You can't just drop these worries. All you can do is keep coming back to the self-realization, and be aware of these worries from that perspective. When you're at home with the universe, when you've dropped all notions of ownership, all notions of renunciation, then you don't have anything to worry about.